I mean, essentially, Boba could just leave, and he said that this is not really the life that he thought it was going to be, or this is not really for him, so he could just give that life to Cobb Vanth, who is a cyborg now. That's probably what's going to happen, and Boba's just going to go on his own merry way and do his thing. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. I hope you're having a great day today, wherever you are watching in the universe. Today we have some cool news, or, well, I don't know about news, but something to ponder on, something to theorize, and it comes from Star Wars Siths on Instagram. I actually like their page very much. So this is a screenshot of a, I believe, Mexican version of Disney Plus. And it will say, you know, it has the Bad Batch, it has Boba Fett, Mando, Obi-Wan, Andor, you know, upcoming shows. But what's interesting is right here where it says, and I'm gonna butcher this, Temporada 2, muy pronto, which basically means Season 2 coming soon, right? So we got Bad Batch, Season 1, Season 2 coming soon. Boba Fett, Season 2 coming soon. Mandalorian Season 3 coming soon. Obi-Wan, nothing there for that. And Andor, Season 1 coming August 31st. Why aren't we in North America seeing this? I don't know. But it hasn't been the first time that the Mexican version or the Latin America version of Disney Plus has leaked some interesting information. And the last time this happened, I think it had something to do with Obi-Wan Kenobi that leaked. Okay, so if we're going to be getting a Season 2 of Boba Fett, let's just imagine that we are. And I think we are. I really firmly believe that we will be, especially with this popping up here. They let it slip, and they probably weren't supposed to, but hey, now I'm going to make a video on it, and I think everyone's going to know, and we're going to speculate. Now, I can guarantee you that thousands, if not millions of us are going to be like, okay, who the hell wants a Boba Fett Season 2? The first one was so mid, it was boring, it wasn't the real Boba Fett. Even Tamora Morrison himself has said, we need Boba Fett to go back to how he was, be a little more badass, and I'm paraphrasing, of course. I think this was a general concern with Boba Fett in the Boba Fett show, was that, well, he was just kind of a little too soft, a little too laid back. And while I really enjoyed the first 2 episodes, the rest of the show was really about Mando, Grogu, Luke, and that was a really cool part, but it wasn't really belonging in the Boba Fett show, right? I mean, it was a nice team up, but it was more like what people are saying, which is Mando Season 2.5. And hey, don't get me wrong, I love when they cross different characters together, but when it comes to a iconic legendary character like Boba Fett, he really needs to be focused on, and he needs to outshine. There needs to be a better story than him just trying to take over Jabba's palace, which isn't really guarded at all, and him just fighting the Pikes for a little bit. Now, I would love for director Rodriguez to come back as well. I love his movies. Once Upon a Time in Mexico is a great movie, as well as his other projects. I just feel the writing for the show wasn't really that great. Now, if we do get a Season 2, there are things that they can do that would really make it exciting and take Boba to a bit more of a dark, I don't want to say setting, but maybe just make him a little less good. You know, this is Boba Fett after all. He is, yeah, a bounty for hire, but he's also not really the greatest guy in the galaxy. He just does what he needs to do to get the job done. And I think this was portrayed really well with Jango. I think this was portrayed really well with Boba in the original trilogy. You know, in The Empire Strikes Back, he's very stoic, he's very quiet, and he just has these very sudden movements that are very quick from a very neutral stance. So what are the different avenues and things that we can see for Boba Fett? Well, Season 2, I think, we should start off, or it'd be interesting if it started off, with him just leaving Tatooine. For God's sakes, let's just get the hell out of the desert for once, okay? And he's just like, you know what? I don't think this life is for me. Maybe gives it to someone else. Maybe he gives it to Fennec and he just rolls on his own for a bit. Probably not. Fennec's gonna roll with him because they're a duo. But I could see him just leaving his palace for a bit and having someone else watch it. Maybe Black Chrysanthemum or whatever. Who knows? Maybe the Vespa people are gonna like watch over it or something like that. And I could see him taking maybe a more perilous mission. Something much more grandiose than just, you know, getting Jabba's palace or, you know, ruling with respect. Maybe he's got to go on a hunt for his twin sister that he knows about. You know, Fennec does know Omega, and now that we're going to be getting the Bad Batch Season 2, which I think would come before Boba Fett Season 2. If we're getting Andor August 31st, then we're getting Bad Batch Season 2 end of September. That would take us well into probably the new year, or like I would say, what is 16 weeks? It's 4 months. So October, November, December, January. takes us into January. So we could get Boba Fett and Mandalorian pretty much overlapping at the same time. We could get Boba Fett maybe at the end of January or in sometime in January, or we could even get it sometime while The Bad Batch is airing. So maybe in December, Boba Fett Season 2 could start, take us into The Mandalorian Season 3, and from there, we go further, and then we eventually get Ahsoka at the end of the year. Now, there's many different things that they could do for Boba Fett Season 2. They could bring Mace back if they want to be so daring, which honestly I don't think would be the best move. I don't want them to do that, but they could bring him back, and it could be all about Boba seeking, you know, revenge against Mace, who killed his father in front of him in the Attack of the Clones in the Genosian arena. It could be about Boba trying to find Omega. It could be about Boba trying to find maybe one of his brothers that we don't know about. Maybe they're going to introduce a new clone, a new character that he had a close relationship with. Maybe he has a clone of himself, a little Boba, that is like a Boba Jr. that is out there somewhere and he needs to go find him. Maybe he's going to go on a hunt for Han Solo and he is just ridden with rage for what Han did to him by throwing him in the Sarlacc pit. And through that, we could get Luke, we could get Han, we could get Leia, so many different characters banded together again. The main point is that we need to see a Boba Fett reinvigorated, reinvented almost, and to be shown a lot more ruthless than he was in the first season. I like Tamora Morrison, I like his acting, I like him so as much as I know from a person, and I like the story of Boba Fett in general. I think if you write a proper story regarding the character, I believe that Tamora can act it really well, and I think the story is going to be really good. But it's just about execution. It's just about, you know, what is driving this main character? Is it just about ruling with respect? Or is there something more? Is there something personal there that we can really latch onto and connect with? Does it have to do with perhaps his past, his father, maybe his home? I think Cad Bane is going to come back. I don't think he's gone. So there could be something where they either team up together to fight an even bigger threat, or they have to fight each other again somehow, or, you know, he causes some major issues. There's really a lot that could be done. They just need to write a really concrete story. And we know, while as much as we enjoy The Mandalorian, maybe not focus on him that much in this show, and rather just focus on Boba and his adventures throughout the galaxy, going from planet to planet, and not just stuck on Tatooine and trying to, you know, rule with respect. There were many major things that I didn't like with the Book of Boba Fett, you know, mainly his attitude and everything like that, but I feel like if they really focus on the comics of Boba Fett, and not these new Marvel ones, I'm talking about like the Dark Horse version of Boba Fett and how he really was portrayed in the 90s, then I think there's a lot of really cool stories that they could make from any one of those comics and just extrapolate on those and create something really cohesive with the story that is Boba Fett, and also leading into whatever future Star Wars projects that they want. I think that they want to have like a bunch of different characters eventually, you know, diverge but come together in the end for some big climactic battle or whatever where they all have to fight together, sort of like a Marvel thing. But anyways, this is cool. I mean, I was pretty sure that we're going to get a season 2 regardless. I doubt that they would bring Boba back just like that and leave him that way, and I hope that they're going to take a lot of the fan criticism to heart and not be like, oh, whatever, they don't know what they're talking about, but maybe just think about it a little bit and be like, you know what? Maybe we could have done this a little bit differently, but maybe Boba could have flown a little bit, not been trapped by those shields in the beginning with the assassins, or he could have flown after the annoying Twi'lek guy and gotten after him, who's probably shacking up with Pelimoto now. You know, if you're going to incorporate the Vespa gang, make them a little more badass, you know, less Power Ranger-y, make them... And then, of course, we're getting Cobb Vanth again, and we know that he's a cyborg now, so I could see Boba giving Cobb Vanth Jabba's palace and basically making him the ruler of Tatooine. Or maybe just, you know, taking care of it until he's back. I mean, essentially, Boba could just leave, and he said that this is not really the life that he thought it was going to be, or this is not really for him, so he could just give that life to Cobb Vanth, who is a cyborg now. That's probably what's going to happen, and Boba's just going to go on his own merry way and do his thing. Anyways, I'm excited to get a season 2. I definitely like the Boba show, and I want to see more of Boba, but maybe just done right this time. A little more true to how George wrote him to be. Well, we didn't really know much about him, but at least how he was written in the legends and comics and books and stuff like that in the games. So, hey, this is exciting. I hope that we get to see him sometime this year. If not, then maybe in the next year, maybe after Mandalorian or just before it. We'll see what happens. But thanks for watching this video. Let me know what you guys think about a season 2 of Boba Fett. How would you want that to happen? What would you want to see? Do you want to see Mace Windu come back? Do you want to see some Jedi come back? Or maybe Boba goes on a journey of his own to perhaps figure out where he really belongs in the galaxy, or find Omega or something like that. Omega. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like please, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Until then, remember, the Force will be with you always.